This video is brought to you by golden lithium-ion batteries. Golden lithium-ion batteries are really good for your device because they have such safety features as they don't have any safety features whatsoever. The best part is the back. Golden batteries tell you everything you need to know on the back of their batteries, such as: attention, asking usage to specify the charger proceeds to refresh. The attention defends the tide. Strict lying forbid the short circuit, can't close to the fire source, the in order to prevent occurrence. Bang. Thanks to Golden Batteries for sponsoring this video. Yeah, they're a real company, aren't they? Greetings everyone, sorry about that little joke intro. This battery is from an old Motorola that I just found kicking around, and I've shown this to people before, but it's just one of the most hilarious lithium-ion batteries I've ever come across. Bang. Fantastic. But we're not looking at lithium-ion batteries today. I'm actually looking at a good cheap phone. You've seen in the thumbnail and title anyways. I'm going to be taking a look at the Xiaomi Duo Qin F22 Pro. I got this device probably 2.5 years ago or so, and it's been on my to-do list for that long. And I've really wanted to take a look at it because it's a dumb phone, but it's a smart dumb phone. It's a good dumb phone. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today to see how it performs for its current asking price of $240, I believe. So strap yourselves in for the usual rambly, chill video. I can actually be myself in these videos now because it's not a sample review. I can actually be a bit more myself and not so serious. Thus the funny intro. That wasn't funny, was it? Don't forget, timestamps are in the description, as well as the pinned comment, so you can skip to wherever you need to be in this one. Before I tell you all the specifications and current pricing, I did look at the Qin 2, was it just Qin 2? Yeah, it was just Qin 2. I looked at this probably like 4 years ago or something. This was a good little phone, I like this. If you haven't seen this video, I'll card it up the top for you. It's an old video, so it might be crap. But yeah, this was a really cool device. Very limited, but it's a cool device. So the F22 Pro is a lot more sophisticated, but keeping things basic at the same time. So currently it's $242.94 on AliExpress before tax as well. So you'd have to add tax in and import fees and all that sort of stuff. But I'll just say it's 243 Australian dollars at the moment. So I'll display SMOOREZ jank currency conversion chart on screen to give you all a rough idea of how much this costs around the world, which it's a bit expensive for a device that is a dumb phone. And you folks have been asking me to review this phone for a while, since I first got the thing. And I've been promising to do it, and now I'm finally getting around to it. But in its current configuration of 4GB RAM and 64GB of storage, with Google Play services, it's $243. I paid $70 for my unit, off some random bloke from Facebook Marketplace. And there's something that's been done to the phone, which I'll talk about soon. Just to give you some quick specs, for the F22 Pro, we've got a MediaTek Helio G85 in it, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of storage, no micro SD card slot, no headphone jack, Type-C USB, 640x960 touchscreen, 8MP rear camera, 2MP front camera, 10W fast charging, 2150mAh battery, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, an IR blaster, and we have 4G on this, which I'll display the bands list on screen, which is very, very limited. It works on Telstra here, but I haven't tested it with any other networks, so if you are considering purchasing this, just know that the bands are very limited. And this is also running Android 12. A Helio G85 with a Mali G52 MP2 GPU isn't too bad, and with 4GB of RAM as well, it's definitely capable. It's probably one of the most powerful dumb phones made, but I believe there's new Qin models already out, which are probably way better than this. I'm 2 years late to the party with this one. I think it's better if we looked at the actual device itself, which, here it is. It's the Duo Qin, or upside down, it's the U-Bomb, which is a pretty cool name for a phone. The box also features like math equations and stuff like E=mc² and UQW and all that sort of fun stuff there. We've got a shiny shimmery box, which is cool. Duo Qin, I'm gonna say Duo Qin, Duo Chin, Dual Chin, Double Chin, I don't know. Don't mind me if I pronounce it incorrectly during the video, it's fine. And Chinese writing around the side, which I assume it says Qin F22 Pro is a wonderful phone and is made for students and it's very basic, and there's a bow tie there. On the back we have F22 Pro with all the specifications, all the quick specs, saying that we've got 4G and 10W charging and made by Duo Qin, which is a subdivision of Xiaomi or something like that. But yeah, that's the phone there, which, as you see in the thumbnail, you'd see this first and go, wow, that's a very... I was taking the thumbnail and I had my tempered glass screen protector on the front of it, and while I was taking a photo, the wind decided to come along, and this is what happened. And I've just went, oh dang. Then I propped it back up and took a photo, and that's what that photo looks like. And I thought, yep, that's a terrible photo. Okay, I'm done with photos. I'm going to go back inside. And then I noticed that I cracked the glass protector. It only fell like this much onto concrete. Like, you just come on, buddy. Inside the box, we get a SIM eject tool, a Type-C to Type-A USB cable, and oh, did I get a bonus screen protector? Can I just reapply another one? Oh, sweet, I've got another one. No, that's a plastic one. But I got a whole bunch of applicators there and some plastic bit there and then some more stickers there. And oh, this is another glass one here. That's another glass one. Cool, so I can reapply it. Supposedly there was a case included with the retail unit, but obviously I didn't get it. It's a fairly simple unboxing because this phone is designed for basic use. It's not meant to be something like flagship style. It is just a very basic device for what it is. And I'm going to say that a lot in this video. It's basic. And it looks like a generic Dumbphone. This is some Optus cheapy thing that is sold here in Australia. You know, it looks the same. Nailed it. 3.56 inch touchscreen, little earpiece at the top. There's some light sensors in there somewhere. And we've got the buttons, which are all just fairly basic. You've got 2 option buttons, D-pad, middle button, call end, power as well, numeric keyboard, which can be used for typing, but I can't quite work out how that works, so we'll have to see. But the best feature though is that the camera's down the bottom there. So if you're just using this, it's like, hey, I don't have a camera. Oh, look, there he is. So that's just a little buddy down there, 2 megapixel camera just there. I don't know why they put it down there when there's ample room at the top. It makes taking selfies weird because you're taking selfies like this, or like, no, because you can't do it like that. It doesn't make sense, but I'm sure it made sense to someone. And around the phone, we just have a SIM card tray, which only takes 1 nano SIM at 4G. At the bottom, Type-C USB port with a hole for a microphone. At the side, just a volume rocker. And at the top, we got our IR blaster. And at the back, we've got an 8 megapixel camera and an LED flash. And that's it for this thing. It's fairly thin, and it's not that sturdy. Definitely wouldn't pass Rig Everything's durability test, but I'm sure it'd be fine for most folks anyways. And the feeling of it as well, it does feel cheap. And the buttons also feel pretty spongy for what they are. So let me go ahead and power this on and we'll see how this performs, which you'll see my slight issue with this. Right there, your device has been unlocked and can't be trusted. I believe the previous owner flashed custom ROM onto this, but I think it's the firmware with Google Play. I believe they've originally purchased this without Google Play, and then they flashed the Google Play firmware onto this. That's what I think anyways. Because the firmware looks all legit, so there you go. There it is. This is a full Android experience, just in this form factor. And as you can see, I've already installed a couple of apps myself, but I still have to install a bit more. Magisk is on here, so I'd say we've got root access already. This is looking pretty much like stock Android. We do have some AI Pay stuff there. Alipay has not been installed. Oh, that's supposed to be Alipay. We've got WeChat as well, and I can control it with the buttons and stuff, but it's just a little bit sort of slow when using the buttons. It's probably just easier to use a touchscreen. Swiping down from the top, we have all the usual shortcuts, including the LED, which is super bright on this. That's pretty good. When I was outside, it did illuminate a fair distance. That's pretty good. Oh, you can see all the dust on my lens. That's great. Also, the brightness for the LCD as well. You can't really tell, but it's fairly bright for what it is. And the quality of the display on this is actually fairly decent. I mean, it's 960 by 540, which is a fairly high resolution for such a small screen. And locking it as well, you just press that. And then to unlock it, you then press left function and star, and that's it. Holding the left function button doesn't do a whole lot. Holding back opens up recents, so you can get rid of that. Adjust resolution, reset resolution. There you go. Holding star opens up music. Holding pound opens up nothing. Pressing all the buttons brings up your dialer. So general functionality, it is pretty snappy, just as it is, but I'll quickly go through settings. So network and internet, I'm already connected to Wi-Fi. I haven't reset this since I've owned it because I'm scared if I reset it, it won't work. So I've just left it. But not a whole lot in network and internet except mobile network, which is Telstra. I've already done a call quality test, so I'll splice that in, have a listen to it, and see what you think.
And this is the call quality for the Qin F22 Pro. Sounds a little something like this on Telstra with VLTE. And there is some slight buzzing that I can hear, but maybe you can't hear it during this recording. But it sounds fairly clear for what it is. Nothing too spectacular, so let's move to the microphone and see what that sounds like.
And this is the microphone quality for the Qin F22 Pro. It's weird saying Qin, but that's how it's pronounced, I think. Once again, microphone sounds pretty clear for what it is. Nothing too spectacular, but it works. This is what it sounds like, so I think you get a good idea with the call quality, so let's move on. And I can actually hang up using one button, which is cool.
Any further call quality from the Qin F22 Pro? It sounds pretty good for what it is. I can't really criticize it. Too bad we didn't have stereo speakers on this. If you also have noticed, there's no speaker grill on this because the settings have stopped. Ignore that. It's been custom firmware and stuff. We've only got this top speaker as the main speaker. So that's why the call quality was quite loud, because that's our main speaker there. So when we get to the speaker test, I'll test it out and see how loud it is. In connected devices, no NFC, nothing like that here. Applications, do I need to go through this though? I'll just go really fast, okay? And if you need to pause it at any given moment, feel free to pause it. I don't know if I should open up QuickShortcutMaker or not. Maybe I should, just in case. But there's the 3-button navigation on here as well, and there was also hardware info just up there. I think it might be worth opening it. But I assume, look, Xiaomi's pretty trustworthy. And this isn't exactly Xiaomi, like, directly. It's some sort of other subdivision of them. Battery is 97%, and I can say with the 2150 mAh battery that's in this, it's not really a great performer. Combined with the Helio G85 that's in this, which is a little bit power hungry. When I did test this last year, when I was going to film the original video for this, on just standby with Wi-Fi and cell, lasted about a day. So if you're using this for a lot more than what it's really intended for, like social media and all that sort of stuff, that battery is probably not going to hold up. But since this isn't really meant to be a fully fledged Android device, even though it is, the battery could have been a bit more, but at 2150 mAh, it is what it is at the end of the day. At least charging it back up's fast though. It's only 10 watts, but it doesn't take that long at all. Now storage, I've used 70% because I've got Genshin Impact on here. And with 64 gigs and no micro SD card slot, you are limited. From what I know anyways, these phones are more for students and people that just want a basic sort of device. Because while we do have a full Android experience on this, it is quite limited in terms of features, but I guess that's kind of what makes this thing unique. I mean, I like it. It just looks like the most generic dumb phone in the world, and then you power it on and realize that it's got decent specs in it. Which, when I say decent specs, the Helio G85 is definitely capable, but this thing heats up really, really quickly. When I was installing Genshin, this thing was really hot, so I want to see what cooling they've implemented in this. In sounds, we don't have best loudness. Default notification sound is Chinese. Oh. That sounded like a bit of dubstep. Can we have that louder, please? See? Mad. Also, because this is Android 12, I don't think I'd be able to dump any of the system files. I mean, I'd probably get some of the apps, but I don't think it's worth it. In display, we have wallpapers, which we can quickly take a look at. So we have default Android looking one. We have Meteor, which is helpful. We have the Earth, I think. Then we have red starry sky, yes. Then we have blue starry sky. Then we have mountain dirt mound. No, I don't know. These are probably stock, I'd say. I'm going to set the Earth. No, Meteor, Earth, Meteor, Earth, Meteor, Earth, Meteor, Earth, Earth. Wait, I got a good idea. Oh, look, it's the Earth. And then you unlock it. There's an asteroid coming right for it. Oh, well, that didn't work, but you know what I mean. We've got button light timeout on here as well, which I'll just put to 5 minutes, just so you can see how bright the keypad lights are, which, do they work? I don't think they work, but they should work. Accessibility, we have not a lot of options in here. In security, we don't have too much in here because there's no fingerprint, there's no face unlock, nothing. It's just swipe, pattern, and pin. That's all you've got on this. When I originally seen this, I thought the middle button was a fingerprint sensor, which would have been really cool, but unfortunately it's not. Location, safety and emergency, passwords we don't need to go into. Quick key settings, press the key to launch an app. You can assign shortcuts to the keys, which is good. Keys simulate touchscreen gestures. Oh, I get it. So then what you would do is you would quickly add a shortcut, which you'd press this and then do this. I think I've got it. Hang on, hold up. Oh, there you go. That works. I don't know about the gesture things though. And also for me as well, I'm going to be using mostly the touchscreen during testing this. As I said earlier, you can use the buttons, but it's just a lot slower. But for folks who would need the big buttons, like this has big buttons on it, it'd be more than enough to use the buttons as they are. In system, we just have system update, but we're up to date, I believe. Yep, up to date. 5th of April 2022 is the security update. I'm not too sure if there was any updates provided for this. There's likely some firmware that you could flash onto this to get a better security patch, but I'm not too sure of that. Finally, in About Phone, we've just got SIM status, IMEI, Android 12, which we can open up the Easter egg. There it is there. Whee! There we go. And there's the baseband, kernel version, and build number. I can put developer options on. And system update as well brings up this menu, but once again, there's no updates. System's currently up to date. Going into developer options, there's not a whole lot I could really do in here though. We'll see what the window animations are at actually. Let's do it to 0.5. Does it feel snappier now? Yeah, It feels a bit snappier. It doesn't make your phone faster. It just cuts the animations in half to make it seem a bit more snappier than it is. What I can say about this so far is that it's actually fairly responsive. I plan on testing this device as just a normal smartphone. So let me see how it will perform with Genshin, see what scores we get for Geekbench. Alright, I've just installed a bunch of apps and I'm jumping onto the Play Store to get YouTube on this. And I want to talk about the typing on this. So you do have the on-screen keyboard, which is manageable, but if you were to go to the top and start using the keyboard, you'll find it doesn't work. So then if we come back into settings and go to system, languages and input, and then do keyboards, there's on-screen keys there and that's it. So I'm not too sure how to get that working. There's probably some sort of software that you'll need to install in order to get that to work for T9 or text input. Just at the moment, I can't get it to work. It's so weird using an old school layout on Android to type stuff. It's really weird. Now with everything installed, including Doom. So let me go through the default apps, which there's honestly not too much here anyways. Messaging, call history, contacts, we don't need to go into, but camera we can go into though, which here it is. We've got the 8 megapixel on the back, 2 megapixel down there. As you can see, very basic. We don't have a whole lot of options. I did have anti-shake on, but that didn't really help, to be fairly honest. You can just change the picture size, and that's really it. And with videos, 1080p, and you can do scenes if you want to, and then swap into the front camera. It looks like that. Which, do you hold it like that, or do you, I held it like this, and then I held it like this, so it's up to you how you want to hold it. I just don't know why the camera's down the bottom when they have room up here, but like I said earlier, maybe it's to hide the fact that it's got the camera down there, so it doesn't interrupt your experience with using Android, because I don't know. But you can do 720p on the front and 2 megapixel shots with that camera. So I'll go ahead and splice the photos and videos that I took with the Qin F22 Pro, and we'll be right back. Alright, testing video quality on the Qin F22 Pro. I think that's how it's pronounced. Qin or Duo Qin. I'm not too sure. But this is 1080p on the rear camera. And we do have autofocus, but it's not quite working. It's really zoomed in for some reason. Oh, that's because I had it zoomed in. My bad. There we go. Does it look good now? Kinda. It doesn't look the best from this tiny little display, but hopefully when looking back at the footage it looks fair. We'll just go for a zoom up of the flowers. There's no bees today, and no EIS or anything like that. I mean, it doesn't look like it. Just a fairly basic camera on this thing, but hey, it's doing its job, I think. Yeah, it looks alright. How about detail? Can we see Zenny? Yeah, looks good. And far away aircon looks like that with a 4x digital zoom. Can you see a breeze there? I don't think you can. No, you can't. Okay. Well, yeah, it's a fairly basic camera. Look at this Muppet. Ah. Oh, hey. Look at it. It's a chunk. Aren't you? Yes, you are. You big chunk. Alright, testing nighttime with the F22 Pro. This is what it looks like. And the LED is very, very bright on this. Not gonna lie, that's pretty good. It looks like it's more than 30 FPS now, but I can't tell with this small display. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Fair enough, the photos probably didn't turn out that good, but at least it's nice and bright to have a look at the rotten lemons. And more rotten lemons. And Zenny, looking shiny. Okay, it's cold out here, so I'm going back inside. Testing the front camera on the Qin F22 Pro. It is so weird having the front camera down the bottom. It's so strange. It's like the Nokia N9. You kind of just gotta have it like this. I mean, it's 2 megapixels at 720p. I mean, It'll do. It's nothing special, but it'll do. Any details? No? I don't know. No EIS or anything. There is anti-shake, but that probably wouldn't do too much there. But for a little, phone like this, it's reasonable. It's not meant for anything high-end. It's just a fairly basic camera. But can I zoom in? Oh boy, I can. Hello. All right. Well, let's videos on this. Fairly basic. I think I've said that about 8 times. You've just seen all the photos and videos that I took with the Qin F22 Pro. They're acceptable. They'll do. I mean, look, you got to say Ripley. Look, say wee. Look at that big loaf. Look at it. Honestly, the photos for both the rear camera and the front camera turned out pretty fair. Night shots with the LED flash on were a little bit grainy, but it is what it is. 1080p video was okay, and 720p video on the front was also okay. The cameras aren't anything too special. They're intended just to work, and that is what they do. They work. And while we could say it's a phone for 240 odd Australian dollars and it's got cameras like that on this, for the market that this is intended to, they're completely fine. They're not aiming for this to be flagship specs in this. Although it would have been cool if they had better cameras in this, but it is what it is. Calendar, Play Store, Files, which is just the stock file manager, Gallery, Genshin Impact I'll come back to. Calculator, what does that look like? Ooh, it's a customized one, so you could do like 2 plus 2 is 4 minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. So that's cool that it's customized to work for this phone. As for the browsing experience on this, well, let's have a look. So Qin F22, so that's the standard one, is only $100 Australian. There's the F22 Pro for $220 Australian. I'll admit I haven't looked up any reviews for this, but let me go onto the Dumbphones subreddit here just to see what they say about this. There seems to be a bit of screen lag, slow responsiveness. They're still trying to figure out the texting experience, so they've got issues with it as well. The camera isn't great, but serviceable. Exactly what I said, but just standard browsing anyways. I think you'll get away with this, no problems. Let's actually see what the newest Qin phone is. I hope I'm saying it correctly, Qin, because in that older video I was saying Quinn the whole time, and it was not Quinn. Yeah, experience a simple and smart life with Qin phones. So the newest one is the F22 Pro, and they do say that it supports Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Of course. Yeah, browsing is fair, but you don't have a lot of real estate to work with, so you'll likely be going, what does that say on there? I mean, you can read the text, but I'm just saying, you will probably have to zoom in at some points, maybe. Done with the browser test. Moving on, sound recorder looks like that. Well, you've heard the microphone quality anyway, so I don't need to show that. Music? Songs? Should we do a speaker test? I think we should do a speaker test. I'm not expecting too much, but let's see how it performs. I won't lie, that actually sounded fairly decent. I could hear the bass from BFG Division in that. While it's not a big spurker that we've seen on many other devices before, it's pretty fair for what it is. I'll go to my terrible song that I made just to see what this sounds like. I feel some of the details are a little bit lost. But no, that's quite reasonable, actually. Yeah, I'll give that speaker a pass. As I said, definitely not the loudest thing in the world. I mean, it'll do the job. When I tear it down, I'll get to see how big the speaker is, but I don't expect it to be a very big speaker that they've put in this. Clock, settings, device info, hardware, I think we'll come back to when I open up QuickShortcutMaker and stuff. Magisk, do I need to do anything? I think it means it's rooted. Possibly, I don't know. I don't do this stuff on phones, so I have no idea. Geekbench 6 is there, and Geekbench 5 is there. So I think we'll do the YouTube test. Then I'll do benchmarks, check the specs, do some gaming, and then we can tear it down. So let's go Costa Rica. It's not going to be looking the best due to the resolution of this display, but we'll see how it goes. Let's play it in 4K just to see, just for the fun of it. Okay, well, I knew that was going to happen. Let's be fair to it and bump it down to 1080p. That'll be more fair for it. Wait for it. Hasn't kicked in yet. It's laggy on 1080p as well. Okay, let's be even more fair to it? That doesn't make sense. It should be fine, considering the specs. 720p? Oh, there we go. I mean, look. With the display resolution being what it is, 720p is more than enough. It still looks good. Costa Rica always looks good. Unless it's on a shitty welcome device, then it looks terrible. There's a turtle there. Or tortoise. Or whatever. Same thing. And there's him. Yeah, no, it looks good. Just strange that it wasn't smooth with 1080p, but as I said, considering the screen resolution, 720p is more than enough. Let me open up device info hardware, and we'll just quickly double check all the specs in this. So the screen resolution, 960 by 640. I might have said 560 at one point earlier in the video. Sorry, I forgot the resolution. Android 12, 4 gigs of LPDDR4X, the Helio G70. So it says G70, but it actually is a G85 that's in this, because MT679V does come up as the Helio G80. So that is a bit strange, but I don't think they'd lie and put a different processor in this. Because if I look up between the G70 and the G85 has 2 cores for performance, and then 6 smaller cores for efficiency. And as you can see there in the clusters, we've got 2 GHz and 6 1.8 GHz. So it's definitely a G85 that's in this. Mali G52 MC2 GPU, which should handle gaming. Brand, model, all that sort of good stuff there. Builder, Nazim at Nazim. I'll do multi-touch just to see. Wouldn't be more than 5, would it? 4-point multi-touch? I haven't come across that before. Now it's 1-point multi-touch. I believe it should be 5. Memory, 4 gig and 64 gigs of internal storage. Cameras, 8 megapixel and 2 megapixels. Battery says 1000 milliamp hours, but it's 2150. And sensors, we have everything but a magnetometer and a barometer. So let me just quickly check the other CPU app just to see what it says. So there's the model there, which might indicate to us the firmware that's on this or the version. You folks that are into custom stuff will probably be able to work out what the deal with the firmware is. But system on chip, it says MT6768, but it said the clusters earlier in device info hardware, so I assume that's all good. When I tear it down, if I could pull the shielding off, I will, but if not, I believe it. Memory, RAM, screen, 7.2 inches. Not quite, buddy. Battery is the usual 2,946,000 milliamp hours, which that's wrong, don't worry about it. Thermal, 26 degrees at the moment. Sensors, accelerometer. The other sensors aren't implemented. We've got a light sensor, I know that because that works. And proximity should work, but the rest probably don't work. Cameras, 8 megapixel and 2 megapixel. Let's open up Geekbench 5. The closest that I have to this would be the Helio G99, which was featured in the Unihertz Luna and the Unihertz Jelly Star. So I'll run the benchmark, just see what we get. I'm interested to see the numbers. Don't mind my jank way of keeping the phone like this, it doesn't matter. We've got 347 for single and 1194 for multi, which I'll display the specs from the Jelly Star and Unihertz Luna, which the Jelly Star got 545 for single and 1811 for multi. The G99 is obviously a lot better than the G85 that's in this, but it's still more than plenty for a device like this anyways. I was going to run Geekbench 6, but I think it's better if I just show you gaming to get a better idea of performance instead of just numbers. But before I do that, I want to open QuickShortcutMaker just to have a look through this, see if there's anything worth opening up, like auto boot controller. Okay, I can't launch that app. Factory test. I don't know what that says. The aging test there. This is all just the usual stuff here. Ooh, NFC, but it doesn't have NFC though. Hardware info, which has all the hardware info. The battery is by Xin Wang Da. Nothing much in QuickShortcutMaker. Let's do gaming, which I put Doom on here because just for the fun of it. We've got buttons. Let's try Doom. All right, let's see. Oh. Okay. Oh my god, I can play it. Ha! We have to set the controls first. I can't change it. What if I do invert? I don't think that'd make a difference, but yeah, if I go to this and it says move stick for left and right, I can't do anything, so I'll go back into it. That's even more confusing. I mean, it works. It's Doom. Yeah, it's kind of a bit impossible to control. It sounds good too. Which button opens the door? None of them. Okay, that was just for fun. I knew that Doom would run fine anyways. Let's try Genshin Impact on this. Once it's finally installed, let's just say the performance wasn't too great, considering that 99.9% of people who own this are not going to play Genshin Impact on it, apart from me, because I'm testing performance. It's probably not a good phone to run on this, but let's see. Also, I wonder if the buttons can be used in Genshin or not. Alright, here we go. Prepare to see Genshin Impact looking like... wait for it. It's getting there. Like this. And if I go into options, and you go to graphics, we are at the lowest. Can I use the buttons? No, I can't use buttons. Okay. Well, at the lowest settings, this is what Genshin Impact looks like. It runs, but it's a little choppy. It still looks nice though. Obviously, this is not meant for gaming because you've got this, you know, it's not going to work out. If you did want to put emulators on this though, that could potentially work. Get out of my territory. They froze me. Well, that's not nice. I'll teach you for freezing me. Okay. So I think you get a good idea of Genshin. It runs. It's just a little choppy. But now that I've mentioned emulators, I'm going to put Game Boy Color on this to try Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. I'm curious. I've set the keys, so let's load Pokemon Puzzle Challenge with my weird button layout just to see how it goes. Oh, okay. Using a mobile phone D-pad is probably not the best for this game. You need a little bit more tactile sort of feedback to work. Does that make sense? Okay, it's possible. Okay, well that was easy. This is actually not bad. If you don't mind the keys being a little bit sort of, you know, D-pad there and that there, it's completely usable. Considering the specs, you could probably play up to, what, PlayStation 1? But the battery life is going to be the issue with this. It's not going to last more than a couple of hours playing intensive stuff like this. Also, there's now input lag. Could be just this APK though, but like, I haven't noticed any other input lag throughout testing this. So it's only just that, maybe. But that gives you an idea that emulators can be installed on this, which I'm about to go into a conclusion because I've pretty much tested everything I need to test on this. I've done calls, checked the display, speakers, performance, gaming, all that sort of good stuff. And I honestly like this. The price tag that they're asking for this is a little expensive, I will say that. So that's why for me, when I paid the $70 for this, I thought it was a bargain, considering the specs that you get for a dumb phone. It's like the Sugar A100 that I had a look at. You know, it's got a small screen. It's sort of like, do you want to make your life a little bit simpler and not have a big screen to scroll social media and stuff? Here, have this and just use it for the absolute bare minimum, then this will do it. I did like the previous Qin device, and I like this one too. I think it's got some great stuff about it. Of course, it would have been cool to have a headphone jack and expandable memory, but considering its target audience for students and just people who want to have a basic device, this does everything. It's more than enough, and you can push it if you wanted to, because we do have fairly reasonable specs in this. It's just, you can't do too much because of how small the screen is. But regardless though, I think this is a great little performer. If you can find it cheaper, it may be worth picking one of these up just to tinker around with. But ultimately, for folks who want a dumb phone that can handle stuff, this is probably one of the examples of something that I'd recommend, because as far as I know, this is probably one of the most powerful dumb phones on the market, but I could be incorrect about that one. I'll have to have a Google. But the price to performance isn't quite there, and you don't get much features, but as it is though, I think it's a nifty little device. One thing I didn't check was the IR blaster, but I assume that would be completely fine. Yeah, look, honestly, with my conclusion, I like this for the price I paid for it. While testing it, being fairly bulletproof, but the one thing that I come back to is how warm it's getting. Because it's a MediaTek Helio G85, it's gonna need some sort of cooling. So I reckon it's best to tear it down and have a look at the innards to see if they have implemented it or not, because during that Genshin install, it did heat up quite considerably. And during my quick game of Genshin, it wasn't too bad. But then again, it's quite cold in here, so it's probably just at the right temperature. But I think we can power this off and let's tear it down, which shouldn't be too difficult. Let's see if we can get into this without tools. Okay, well, without tools and using my fingernail, I better be careful just in case there's some sort of a flex ribbon somewhere. I think it's fine. There we go, we're in. Oh, there's red accents, so that's pretty cool. Oh, the little coin style vibration mode is just down the bottom there. They could have put NFC in this. They definitely could have, because it would have just made it a little bit more functional. That's another thing that I reckon I could put in the conclusion, is that they should have included NFC with this, just because NFC would be helpful on this. But we've got the battery just there, 2150 milliamp hours, and we've got a couple of screws that we need to take out. To do a battery swap on this, you just take the back off, 2 screws, done, easy. By the looks of it as well, I don't think I'll be able to pull the shielding off, and I don't really want to pull the shielding off this too. Speaking of NFC, look at what's just right there. There's 2 little contact pads for NFC to go on there. So maybe they've released another model that does have NFC or something. And with 1 screw removed, we could take the assembly off, which includes the loudspeaker, which has some dust in it from the previous owner, but that's okay. But it's red, so that's cool. I like red. And we've just got the little camera lens just there. And now we can see the motherboard, which I should be able to just pop out. There we go. And there's no cooling. I mean, you've got the inner metal frame to work with. That's it for cooling though, which is a bit disappointing. The motherboard's just looking a little something like that, which there's not a whole lot going on here. If the shielding was easy to remove, I'd take it off, but I don't want to have to rip it off. And the 8 megapixel camera is just this one here, fairly basic with focus and with the little LED flash there. That's pretty much around the motherboard. There's not a whole lot going on with it. I want to see this little tiny camera down here, so we're going to have to rip out the battery, which I believe there's pull tabs. Nope, they're not pull tabs. So removing the battery, just being very careful of any flex ribbons that may be there, which there is. We can have a look at the bottom camera. There we go, and that is the battery just there, which not a whole lot to it, but there's the camera down the bottom there with a long flex ribbon. That's just a fairly basic one there, nothing to it. Now the keyboard itself though, let's see if we can take off the keyboard. There is the keyboard there, and is there any lights? Doesn't look like there's any lights, but the Type-C port is actually part of the keyboard, which is a bit weird. So if you did need to replace the charging port on this, you'd have to replace the keyboard at the same time. Bit of a downside there. Maybe there's little LEDs just in there, but I can't see any. And that just leaves us with the assembly for the LCD and the buttons there with the little D-pad, and that's pretty much it with this thing. It's a fairly simple construction. There's not too much that's going on with this. That is my review of the Qin F22 Pro, and I think I can slap the back cover down on it. Everything should be all working. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this with me. It's been a while since I purchased this, and it's been on my to-do list for so long, and I've just went, you know what, I'll finally get around to doing the review. And here we are. It's something different on the channel. It's not just a standard Android phone, it's a dumb phone, which I've said probably about 27 times by now. You folks will have to let me know what you think of this one down in the comments below, if you think it's a worthy performer, or if you think it's not quite worth the money. Considering the other alternatives out there, this is just kind of unique in its own little niche part of the market. So that's my take on this, which if you're still listening to me ramble, that means you've made it to the end of this one. So thank you so much for watching and taking the time out of your day to sit back and listen to me waffle on about a random device. I really do appreciate it. But if you had to use timestamps to skip past certain segments of the video, that is completely fine. That's why they're there. So you can just jump straight to whichever segment you'd like to watch. I was half thinking if I should look at any other Qin phones, but you folks will have to let me know if you think I should look at some other ones or not, because there's the F21 and there's a couple of other ones that look interesting, but I don't know if you folks want to see them. Let me know if you do want to see them. I don't know when it'll be sometime down the track. I'll get to it eventually. If it took me 2 years to get to this, yeah, whoops. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this one. I really do appreciate it. And once again, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Going back to a more cheaper device is much more comfortable for me to be able to do my own proper review on. I may or may not have agreed to a Red Magic 9S Pro to look at on the channel, but they just told me I need to do an unboxing because it's realistically the same as the Z60 Ultra, which thank you everyone for sticking with me saying Z. People saying that it is correct, but it's just a US thing that they say Z, so I don't know. But yeah, the Red Magic 9S Pro is the same as that, so I really don't know if I'm going to do a full in-depth review, but we'll see how we go. As always everyone, take care, stay safe, be good people, and I will see you all in the next one, which will be probably more cheapo crap. Looking forward to receiving the new AliExpress stuff that we found on the live stream, so I'll be expecting them soon. But until the next time I see you all, take care of yourself, keep being awesome, and I'll see you very soon. If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.